Tell your friends! Tell your friends about Hooks and Ladders, but also about songstudio.ca. You can get all kinds of information about songwriting, tips, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, like, follow, and subscribe. That's what we need. That's what you need.
During the pandemic, I recorded my first ever original Italian song, and I raised money for the Italian Red Cross, because if you remember, Italy was one of the first few countries to get hit, right? So we weren't hit yet. So I did this whole fundraiser, and I wrote a song called Una Lettera, which is a letter, a love letter to Italy, during that time. And then I continued to explore. Then I started taking gigs, like Italian singing gigs, and doing old 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s songs, which are my favorite, like Mina and just like some of the greatest artists of that Sanremo era. And then I wanted to do an ancestral sort of rediscovery project, and I applied for this grant 10 years before, and I got rejected. Yeah. And it was in my brain, but it wasn't fleshed out. So I applied to the CAC, the Canada Arts Council, and I was lucky enough, thanks to them, that they gave me this grant, a nice chunk of money, to go down to southern Italy to reclaim my roots, to explore our traditional folk music. But I didn't just want to explore traditional folk music and bring back traditional folk music. I wanted to learn about it. I wanted to learn how to play our ancestral hand drums. So I studied in New York with a mentor from Rome. But I met this band called Kalashima at the American Folk Alliance one year in Montreal. I think it was 2018 or 19, before the world kind of shut down for a bit. And I remember I was running a women's only room. So I was spearheading a room where I would house female artists only, and we would showcase in these hotel rooms, as you know. It's a big party.
Yeah, it's great.
And I needed a break. So I went down the hall at 2 a.m, and I heard accordions and tamburelli, which are our goatskin hand drums. And I heard Italian bagpipes. And I was like, what is going on? Like, who are these people? And they were singing in Italian. So I instantly fell in love. And what they do is they play the ancestral instruments, and they play the rhythms of our ancestors and the themes, and they use the same melodies, but they use electronic music and hip hop, and they use folk music, and they use world music and Balkan style, anything Mediterranean influence. So it's so fun. I'm touring with them right now. I'm leaving again on the weekend. We have 2 more weeks left of our month across Canada. And I've never experienced this type of joy and energy on stage before, because I love my guitar, but I get on stage, I do our traditional dance, but in a kind of contemporary way. I get to play my drum, I sing some leads, and I sing some harmonies. And I have like 19-year-olds screaming at me, jumping up and down. And in my head, I'm like, I wish they knew that I was 42 years old. I'm so cool. And it's just so fun. Every night, these guys bring it. They're such pros. We have a baritone saxophonist in the band. He's incredible. They're all incredible. So I'm like overjoyed that this transpired, like this project came to be. And I literally don't want this month to end, because I know, I have things and plans, and I made a film as well. So this grant, with the grant money, we did a record together, a collaborative album. We wrote 2 originals, 4 traditionals in our own way, so 6 songs. And I made my first documentary feature, which features the band as well as local elders of of the southern Italian community, some artisans and some dancers, and it touches upon our legend of our folk music, which is all about a spider bite that happens to the poor peasant women in the fields usually. And usually it was like a sign of socioeconomic oppression on the women. And they would have to exorcise the poison out of them by calling on the healers, which were the local musicians of the town. So it's all about music and dance as healing. And that's what my film's about. And that's what the record's about too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story. The takeaway, in my opinion, from that story, every time I talk to Andrea in this kind of forum, because obviously you can't talk in this depth, hey, how are you? But when we do, I'm always so inspired. And so I'm thinking, well, I want to do that. I'm not Italian, but I want to do that. And whatever it is, I want to own a baritone, whatever it is. And I want to be in a band with
I want to dance in a long skirt with Italian men.
And be in a band with 5 Italian guys or whatever, 6, okay. So, but I think the takeaway is not only is Andrea driven to try new things, but also there's a certain amount of saying yes to the universe. Something comes along, and instead of going, oh, I could never do that, You're like, yeah, I think I could do that, or I'm going to try. And I think that's an important spirit to have in the creative arts. I really do. I think it's very important to just, think, instead of, if your go-to is no, which mine is sometimes, fear is a thing for everybody, is to just put that aside and think, well, could I do that? And I think that you're a living example of that. And, in addition to your talents and the talents you've developed, but there's also a spirit to you that I think is really inspiring. So.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. It's interesting what you say about the Italian song, hitting with a crowd who don't speak Italian, presumably. Lawrence Gowan the other day, we were talking about music being a conversation, because what I was trying to get at, and he was echoing, or he was saying and I was echoing, was that songwriting, although we start out often as it's a solitary thing and we're doing it for ourselves, for therapy or whatever, but it becomes a conversation. Quickly, if you're paying attention, it becomes a conversation. So there's an example of a conversation that's not even based on words necessarily. It's sounds and the emotions from the melody and the chords and so forth. And it's a beautiful example of that. So, do you want to sing us a song in Italian?
I feel like, I'll be honest with you, I mean, the song that I would sing you in Italian wouldn't be on the new record. It would be the song I do all the time. Because the new record, it's really like all these instruments. Like, I don't even play that thing. I could figure out the song on the guitar and I could play it, but it won't have the same effect. I could do that. So how about we do a show of hands? I could play you the Italian song that I often love to play that I recorded on Nuda, or I could play you my first baby song, Thank You for the Ride, which is on my first ever album. And it's another one that came out in 10 minutes. Baby song. Okay.
There you go.
We're going to do the baby song.
All right, fantastic.
Lying here, staring at the ever-changing sky, the breeze makes me think of you. Trees surround me, they're the same bright color as your eyes. I breathe them in. What else can I do? I reminisce, thinking back to what a broken girl I was the night you cradled me. Still I taste your lips on my hungry mouth, but now your kiss is just a memory. And I'm sorry you were just a stone to help me reach the land, keep me from the fierce and rolling tide. And I'm sorry that I gave you what you couldn't understand. So I wrote this song to thank you for the ride. So thank you for the ride. Here we are, the earth, it throbs beneath our feet. The season calls you on your way. I only hope that you take a piece of me with you. You never know, you might need it someday. I forgive you for not knowing what to do with me and my lack of shame. As if some shattered man just crawled into my open arms. Who knows, we may have done the same. And I'm sorry that you were just a stone to help me reach the land, keep me from the fierce and rolling tide. And I'm sorry that I gave you what you couldn't understand.
So I wrote this song to thank you for the ride. So thank you for the ride. 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 Crave the night, 'cause I get to dream up stories of a life I never got to see. It's complicated when you give and get less in return. I know you've felt the same, just not with me. But thank you for the ride. Thank you for the ride. Thank you for the ride.
Nice and loud.
Thank you for the ride. Thank you for the ride. Thank you for the ride.
All right, you guys keep going. Here we go.
Thank you for the ride. 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 Thank you for the ride.
That's my baby song. Thank you for singing. Especially because I have no voice this morning, apparently.
No, it's beautiful. Wait, but before you take the guitar off, would you run us through a couple of the things just to show us that you, in the song, you showed us the harmony.
Yeah. Usually, I will use this delay. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For example, hold on. So when I play like an old school song, like
Hold me. I feel nothing without you.
right, like old school kind of, and you want to be in a dream.
I'm afraid I have shed all of my skin. Won't you wrap me in your arms?
And then like, if I'm not a soloist, but if I were to do a solo, it's like. Right?
Yep.
So like the delay just helps get a little bit dreamy, right? Right? That's, I mean, really basic pedals I have here. Like the harmony one is super fun too, especially when I do the Cohen tunes. Like hold on, this is like dance. So.
Oh, dance me to your beauty with a burning violin.
That's very.
Oh, dance me to your beauty with a burning violin. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely in. Lift me like an olive branch and be my homeward dove. And dance me to the end of love.
See how it just creates like a kind of creepy, ethereal
It's a vibe. Yeah, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
The whole thing is
I
a
like
vibe,
the creepy
you know?
vibe,
Yeah, but I mean the whole thing, the baritone guitar, everything, it's and your voice, of course. But what I mean is, again, the creepy thing, your voice, totally creepy. No, but I mean the vibe thing, it's all to enhance and support your songwriting and your singing, and it does it beautifully. And it's not overboard. It doesn't sound gimmicky. It doesn't sound like okay, now there's an echo. You know, it's subtle and musical. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap up, but so let me ask you, is there a big takeaway from you? For me, the big takeaway is be adventurous, say yes, try stuff, and be honest and vulnerable. But for you, is there anything else for these guys?
Really, like lead with your heart and write about write about what you know and what moves you, because if it moves you, the likelihood of it moving people listening to you is much higher. So, and then experiment. Like, don't get stuck. I often used to get a lot, like, really stuck in my way of doing things. Like, oh, it can't go here, or it needs a bridge here. Like, you're everywhere. I mean, maybe that you can call that part a chorus, like.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but there's like no real, it's not like a sophisticated technical song, right? And a song doesn't have to be, I mean, like yesterday, Matt, you sang a song with no chorus, and it was just so lovely. I love that song. It was beautiful. So we have to like get out of our heads and, and also I would say record yourself singing it and listen back to it, because that'll inform you a lot. And I think that you can play it for people and you can get their feedback, but at the end of the day, you have to make those choices. So get good at screening yourself and at saying, does this impact me? Do I feel this song? What is it missing? And even play it live on video. I do that, not that I want to like always watch myself on video, but there's some really bad videos, and then you can see the evolution of the song, because I'm like, I would never do that live in front of people. And then I take it from that video and I add things to it and I change things. And so, yeah, just work with yourself, and be open and vulnerable to changes and stuff. That's my advice for whatever it's worth.
Andrea Ramolo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So great. Thank you. Yeah.